Hey admins, how we doing out there? Well, day after Easter. Hope everybody had a good holiday weekend, and we all remember exactly what that holiday's about. First, let me start off. This is going to be a little bit longer a video. We got a lot of stuff to cover, but I'm going to try to get through as quickly as possible. First of all, I am having trouble with my phone. If you're trying to get a hold of me, I'm trying to switch the companies. Try to do it on Saturday. They said it'd take from 2 minutes to 2 days. It hasn't changed yet, but it's cutting in and out. Like it'll have no service no matter what town or where I'm at for like 10, 15 minutes at a time. And then boom, I get 3 or 4 text or emails at the same time, and then a phone message because it wasn't working. So we're trying to get that taken care of. If in the next couple of days I'm still having trouble, if you're having trouble getting a hold of me, please be patient. Keep trying to call back or send me an email. Email is always one of the best ways to get a hold of me. I do look at my emails on a regular basis, and definitely usually at the end of each night. All right, let's talk about numbers. As you can see, I still have the beard. So we ended March down just 15 for the entire association. 15. I really was hoping over the weekend we were going to get there. Didn't quite make it. I did have some lodges that made some efforts and some real pushes. You know, we were at 160 on Friday, and then on Saturday we were down to 68. So we were going in the right direction. Just didn't quite get there. For those lodges that are +1 and close, I appreciate all you've done. If we're down several members, folks, we got to look at what's going on in the lodge and why that's happening. Again, plenty of workshops that have discussed that, and we know what the issues usually are. But if you don't understand or don't know why, contact me. I'll be more than glad to talk to you about activities and retention and what we need to be doing in our lodges. Always love to talk about it, as we all know. Um, Hopefully in the month of April, we've got to get to +1 by the end of the moose year. We keep lagging other associations and territories, and there's no reason why other even smaller associations are having large gains, and we just have not been able to quite get there. We've been trending better since October when we're pushing that the social quarters must remain private and we shouldn't be open to the public in our social quarters. The numbers have been changing around. I also want to thank the district presidents and the higher degrees. They've been helping contact expired members on behalf of their districts and the higher degrees for their area that they cover. I think that has helped. And again, we see the numbers getting better and better. So hopefully one more month and we'll get to +1. But let's just see what we can do. Make sure we're having bartenders, check for expired members, have an officer of the day working on the weekends and the bigger events, checking for those. And what we really need to make sure that we're doing, so we know they're still out there, and I know that I harp on this a lot, but there are ladies that are out there that got the 3 years of chapter dues for free, but then never signed up as a lodge member. And they have to be a lodge member for their chapter to be good, their chapter membership to be good. So when you're looking at those membership cards, it's the same thing for Moose Legion. So use my personal card. It says Moose Legion and what Moose Legion I'm a member of and when my dues expire for that. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a darker, bolder one that says dues and has an expiration date. That is for the lodge. I kind of wish it did say lodge next to it so people would understand that, but it doesn't. It just has a bottom expiration date. If it doesn't have that expiration date on there, that means they're using the same card that they had from 2021 saying that they were good for 3 years, and they've never gotten an actual lodge membership card. So we need to make sure we're verifying that information. As 2024 continues on and we get in the new year next year, those people will start catching them because they'll have even expired chapter membership cards. So just make sure we're checking that. Elections. So today's April 1st. So it looks like some elections will be starting today in many lodges. We want to make sure we're doing that right. But the reason why I'm specifically talking about elections, We need to make sure we remember that men officers in the lodge have to be a member of the Moose Legion before they can be put into the LCL. And same thing for ladies. They must be a chapter member and belong to a chapter somewhere, even if it's General Assembly, to be a lodge officer. So if you have uncontested races and they know they have to be a Moose Legionnaire or a chapter member and aren't, have them working on that now. Don't wait till May, and then May goes by and then we still can't put them in the system and we don't know why. If it won't let you put them in there, it's because they're not in a higher degree, either a chapter or a Moose Legion. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Get those people enrolled now. And I understand lots of people ask, well, why does an lodge officer have to be in a higher degree? We want them to be setting the example for our regular Moose members, and people look to them. Well, if they're officers and they aren't part of the Moose Legion, why should I be? If they're a woman, they're not an officer and they are an officer in the lodge and not a chapter member, why should I be? We want to make sure that they're setting the example. That is the reason why. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, the last thing that I have to discuss, and I'm sorry, I left the paper sitting over there, so I have to grab it. So some of my schedule will be changing from me going into lodges. Last week we were at a Great Lakes region meeting, and came down from Moose International on some of the things that need to be done in lodges that were or weren't being done. And one of them was 990s and their statuses in lodges. It seems like they changed the program with what they were working with the IRS and seeing what lodges were up to date on what information. And then we got a nice little paper ourselves, and it shows what lodges are behind on their 990s and not showing, which ones are up to date. And there were some that surprised me because some of these go back to 2017 and the lodge didn't file that 1 year, but filed since then. I would think that lodge would have gotten communications from the IRS saying that, they skipped a year and needed to either get that taken care of because there would be fines for not filing. And I understand 2017 was technically before I became a territory manager. So for several of you, that was way before you became an administrator in the lodge and accountable for that. But it's still, the lodge has to take care of that. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time contacting lodges that are on this list. You get a nice little red mark if you aren't showing the last 2 years. And the problem we have with that is the IRS is behind on showing on their website the last 2 years of filing. So it's hard for me to look from where I can get to see if you're up to date or not. And while I probably did it during my lodge survey and saw your 990s, maybe I didn't see the confirmation number that it was filed. Maybe I did, but I had a computer crash in November. Therefore, I don't have some of that information. So I will be going back with some of these lodges and checking this. This is a very important thing. If a lodge goes and hits that 3-year mark of September 15th of not filing 990s, they will be unincorporated. We have had that happen before. Trust me, it's a headache. We don't want that happening. So we're going to be following up on this. So I will be spending probably most of this month working in these lodges that have red or pink on them, and there are some that are even technically up to date but have an odd year missing filings. I still don't understand how that works, where I would think if they would have missed a year and then filed the year after, they would have been contacted by the IRS. I don't know. The other thing I'll be working on too is I will be working on all stats and sending that out as soon as the month is completed, because it takes a while for March to show up with all the totals when it comes to numbers, AR payments, and all that kind of stuff. When that does hit, I'll send that out. The one thing that does take longer on there, if there's something on that Allstat that doesn't look right, contact me. But the Moose Charities does not post on an Allstat the lodge endowment or Moose Charities giving to Moose Charities until the 10th of the month. So even if I work on the next couple of days, it won't have that on there. But you guys should know, in general, if you've sent in 10 or 11 months, it's probably going to be on there. It just won't show up yet. But I'm only concerned about that not being on there if that keeps you, if it makes more than 2 months not reporting and can keep you from getting to PLA. Then I'm really going to worry about that. So in the next few days, you'll have your stats. Those that are questionable or close to getting the Premier Lodge Award, I'll probably be contacting you because there were a few that popped up that were missing some information, and that concerns me a little bit as well. So I'll be working on that the next week as well. And then next week, of course, is the chairman of the board visit. We all know which lodge he's going to. He's starting out in Richmond. He's heading down the south east part of the state. If you are nearby, feel free to stop and say hello to him. He's a pretty nice guy. All right, I did keep it to 11 minutes, and I thought it was going to be more like 15 or 20 minutes of me talking. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Email's the best until my phone's working. Take care, guys. Thank you very much.